Well, hey Gundam Maniacs, welcome to another episode of Gundam Explained. Now, for this week, we're actually going to take a look at the first episode of Mobile Suit Gundam Victory, and it's called The White Mobile Suit. You know, Victory Gundam takes place within the UC timeline, and far in the future, past what we know from 0079, Zeta, Double Zeta, all the way to 0153. At this point, there's a power vacuum, so there's no more Zeon, and even the Crossbone Vanguard are kind of doing their own thing now, and so there's kind of multiple entities out there trying to get power, and the Earth Federation isn't in the best state. In fact, the Earth almost has a cool, like, post-apocalyptic vibe to it. The Earth needs help from whatever terrors out there. It's the Zanskar Empire, and they have the Bespa forces. That's who has the technology in the mobile suits. And the Earth Federation is depending on the League Militaire, who have their own mobile suits, including a Gundam. So there was no dub for this, but it was a typical, like 50-ish episode season of Gundam. So yeah, let's jump into it. And yes, yet again, is another banging theme song. I think this one's Winners Forever. It has another one, Don't Stop, Carry On. Yeah, Victory Gundam actually fires on all cylinders when it comes to the music. The intros are rocking, and I feel the music during, like the score during the episodes, have a very Zelda, like Ocarina of Time orchestrated soundtrack to it. And I think that almost fits because a lot of it takes place in the woods, in a forest, kind of having to do with the post-apocalyptic nature of Earth at the time. So I think it fits. Yeah, so not only should you stand up to the victory, but also just check out the artwork in this. If you think about the time frame, this was made, I think it was about 93. We're getting to that point where it's like we're seeing top-tier animation, although in the shows that have long episodes, or a lot of episodes, usually the animation is not as good as like maybe a movie, a shorter series. Luckily, we get the badass animation in the intro, but notice the shading that's going on. We're not going to see a lot of shading in the animation during the show. We are kind of getting a typical like opening narration about where humanity is. It's not too dissimilar from what we're used to from 0079. Mankind is in space. They've polluted the Earth, so most of them are out in space, but then out in space, there's a lot of fighting going on. So again, not too dissimilar. No colony drops yet, but that doesn't mean something disastrous isn't going to happen. Yeah, take a look at the title cards here, having that GV with the white mobile suit. And if I don't get to it, there's, the middle title cards that they do typically in these shows. This one, it has Haro and a dog, just showing a frame of animation. But each one watched consecutively, it's an animation of Haro and a dog doing something together. It's kind of a neat little Easter egg. All right, it didn't take long, but we are already in a mobile suit battle, and we're getting a look at a mobile suit here. I gotta say, the drawn animations look good. It looks good. You can tell definitely when it's not like the matte painting, whether it's foreground or background, that the actual animated portions themselves don't have a lot of shading to it. It's not that detailed, but we can still get the lines, the geometry. It has a very Zeta-esque, in terms of the jagged lines and everything, look to it. Even with the V-fin, I didn't really realize it before, but where they're attached like antennas of an insect, because we're going to see a lot of insectoid style designs, but still, there's still some of the classic Gundam going on here. All right, and here is the other mobile suit here. Now, again, we're jumping into some action, and you might be caught off guard. It's kind of a complaint with Victory Gundam is how it kind of jumps ahead first before scaling back. To me, it's not too much of an issue because we're just kind of getting a hint at what's to come in terms of mobile suit action, characters. We're seeing what we're about to see is a main enemy, I guess the Char Aznable of the series, and he's in that red mobile suit there. Red, Char Aznable. Mask, that's for sure. No, very cool character. Chronicle Asher. So, again, interesting name, but not as, like, crazy. I guess it's actually using real words, just kind of put together in ways you wouldn't necessarily do. Just wanted to cover this other cool shot here. We see that there's some sort of shoulder mechanism, shoulder binders that sort of open up here. And you know what? I mean, guys, there hasn't been any up-to-date mobile suits in Gunpla form of this, right? Of any of these Victory mobile suits. I mean, I have like the Gun Easy, the Victory itself, but a lot of these, the enemy mobile suits, the insect ones, I don't think there's many Gunpla out there of them, but I mean, they look pretty neat. And yeah, we've got a 13-year-old this time around, Uso Ewan. He's living up with people in the forest in the post-apocalyptic Earth. But yeah, as the next few episodes go, it's going to start getting into more of the events that led up to this. Okay, and then here is an early look at a cockpit, just like the little ball within the Sosby. In fact, the shape of the cockpit is very similar to that, and kind of that angularity. But anyway, it goes shooting out like you'd expect. Okay, this is where it can sometimes get a little goofy. He's falling out of the cockpit as it's in the air. It gets unbelievable, but I don't know, the music and kind of the tone of the actions that's going on, it doesn't really cut that sort of feeling that it's trying to portray. Getting another look, when we see this sort of mobile suit, the eyes are solid, but then I guess when it's doing its like the Zakumano eye thing or whatever, it actually has a flash with that vertical line in there, similar to like a cat reptile eye. Very interesting. Here's probably one of the few shots within the series that has shading. They're just having an animation of a jetpack go off. I just wanted to point that out because, there's, I guess, more thought put into that work. Okay, I wanted to show here real quick the helicopter aspect. We see the arms stick up, that the shield thing they have, using it as a helicopter. And, I used to think that was a little silly, although it looked interesting. And then in Rebels, they have Inquisitors with their double-bladed swords, right? They stick them up and go flying away. Well, this got me thinking about, it comes to, I guess, something as heavy as a mobile suit, having to go maneuver in the atmosphere, right? Earth atmosphere. I would think a propeller style system maybe along with thrusters might work. So yeah, I guess that's my headcanon. I think his new type is awakening. How was I able to pilot one of Bespa's mobile suits? And of course, this is when we meet the rest of the crew, or I would say the cast of characters, as they are just people that are living kind of like the original White Base crew. They just all, during a disaster, had to come together. We have kids. There's talk of diapers in the first episode, so kind of classic Gundam when it comes to that. And there we go. Here's some characters there. We got the dog. We've got Kajina, I think is her name, on the left. Very interesting character if you're going to watch this series, to follow her arc. And one of the main pilots of the mobile suits, Marbet, part of League Militaire, she's going out to look for Uso in the core fighter. And I love core fighters. I love the space fighters and all that. And so they have one for the Victory Gundam. Again, this episode is kind of showing different aspects of what the Gundam can do, the mobile suit, kind of showing some of the characters in pivotal moments to get to know them. But again, future episodes following this kind of then go back and start from the beginning. Okay, there's quite a few scenes with this sort of imagery. What we're seeing is painting a disaster of a city. And in the foreground, that's right on the bottom, we're just seeing people. Tons of people just laying there, strewn about, dead. Pretty graphic, pretty violent. This is kind of setting that tone for Victory. And it helps, I guess, with that kind of constantly at war, post-apocalyptic feeling that Earth is in since the Zeon and Federation conflict, where now neither side has won. And in fact, just more different people are coming up to fight. Yeah, it's very interesting. And it's interesting the commentary these characters have with each other based on the war and what they're seeing. We see her saying because the privilege she lived in the special quarter were all corrupt. So she doesn't mind that it was bombed. That's a very interesting take, and I think it kind of helps support some of her character's actions moving forward. Hint, hint. So he sees Marbet and the core fighter flying by, and he's actually going to throw his jacket at her. I guess that's one way to get someone's attention. I think only a new type would be able to land that, don't you think? All right, here's just a cool shot of it landed. You can kind of see the little Gundam head poking out in the back. I guess that's part of its transforming gimmick, but I love the look of the core fighter. Oh, cool. Now we're in some enemy headquarters, some enemy office buildings, so we're going to get to know some other enemy characters. So for this character, big fan of the voice actor. Again, it's in Japanese, so no English dub, but it just is compelling to listen to. I like how they refer to some of their actions as mopping up remnants of the League Militaire. Just sounds like how the Earth Federation wanted to mop up the remnants, or the Titans wanted to mop up the remnants of Zeon. League Militaire is kind of looked at in that eye, even though they're ones that are trying to defend the Earth. There we go, more baby scenes, getting milk. So yeah, if you like classic Gundam, you're going to get that here. Okay, cool. They're in the factory or some warehouse they're hiding out in. So we're getting some cool shots of the Gundam before it's like transformed and everything. So yeah, that's what makes this a good episode. Some more shots, like it's like a factory of them. Yeah, there we go there. That's very cool. You know, like they're building this model, and they just, are kind of trying to mass produce them. Because they're doing what they can to be able to fight against the Zanskar Empire. This is not exactly Anaheim Electronics anymore. And some deeper story going on there. I guess the person that was running this facility made sure to get the enemy attention somewhere else just to preserve this factory, as being mentioned here, so that they have the mobile suits they need to fight. All right, and then here's where they're using a child, because they happen to know how to pilot a mobile suit, kind of giving him pointers for running the core fighter and perhaps being able to transform, connect with the other parts of the Victory Gundam. Cool shot, the animation, landing gear going in. Love these core fighters. Okay, now cut the auto balancer again. I love the little software technology behind the scenes and that they're talking about it like it's a normal language. Just a great shot. And they're actually playing some excellent music right here. Excellent, well done music. And then, they have the core fighter just kind of floating in front of the moon. Okay, so a couple things I want to point out here. I love how we're seeing he's got a joystick, but there's also other areas for his hands to use more controls. You know, that kind of reminds us of the controllers we're using today when we're playing video games. You know, much less a cockpit of a fighter. But not only this, but you get to kind of see him navigating through the controls. He's going through some things. And this transformation mode, top limb, core fighter, bottom limb. So we're going to get some more details of the transformation. She's telling him not to raise the head of the mobile suit, but he does it anyway. And we could see this is like a hero shot because we're seeing the shading that's going on in here. But again, well done. Curious what you guys think of the animation in Victory, because I like it. Oh yeah, here's that little stinger transitioning through commercials. Seeing Haro and the dog kind of the newest addition to these little goofy mascots. And kind of like the Frau, the Thaw, we've got Shakti, got Usos. You know, again, like in the original Gundam and Zeta, they never necessarily make them love interests, but it's just the care and this kind of affection and love these characters have for each other. So at least he's got an excuse for why he wears a mask compared to the others. Now, I guess they kind of show smoke or debris, pollution coming by, and he's saying that's why he has to wear a mask while on Earth. I kind of like how they're kind of drilling into that whole concept of pollution on Earth being polluted, having to do with the fighting, yet the fighting is just continuing to happen. Pretty cool. Minovsky control test. We're seeing the enemy hangar of the Vespa forces. Yeah, again, getting a cool look around at some mobile suits. All right, we see another mobile suit kind of taking off in its transformed mode. Propeller's going to pop out. There's like these teases with how they are showing off these mobile suits. Okay, and here we go. You know, what's a UC Gundam story without that kind of a new type question in the air? And that's what's going on. You know, they saw Uso piloting that Vespa mobile suit, and then they were training him in the core fighter. And, you know, Marbet saying, I once heard about pilots they used to call new types, wondering if he's one himself. So you can see all of the similar beats you'd expect from a UC Gundam, all right here in Victory. You know, Chronicle out on the hunt, looking for the Gundam, or really looking for Uso, whoever was piloting and that killed off his friend. And again, the kids are helping out here. You know, they have them out on the field doing reconnaissance. Yeah, you know, cool shot here. This is not something that's very typical looking of Gundam, but this is kind of up my alley here. This is like some sort of, you know, jet helicopter. Again, it almost looks like these were built with maximum maneuverability in the Earth's atmosphere as opposed to strictly for space flight. And, you know, we haven't been seeing a lot of space yet. There is space in this, but there's a good amount of it, especially at this point where it's, you know, focusing in the Earth's atmosphere, you know, very earthy with a lot of the trees, you know, but yeah, getting these kind of helicopter style vehicles. And Uso's chasing him in his core fighter, so we get some cool kind of like jet dogfighting attack in this first episode. All right, and this is when it looks like he's going to get his transformation going on to be the ultimate Gundam. And yeah, they're launching the rest of the pieces to him to attach to. Watching the transformations are always pretty cool. And again, hero shot, they are putting all the detail with the shading into this transformation. Right, Chronicle Asher's just watching him. He's like, he's docking, he's transforming. Why, I oughta. Oh, well, I guess he did take him out. That's pretty realistic, if you ask me. All right, they're sending out another pair of boots. So I kind of like how they did that in this, where they shot down the leg attachment when you think he was just about to get it, where the bad guy's like watching them transform. And then usually, you know, the character's able to do their transformation. But in this case, yeah, it was shot down and they had to send out another one, and we're getting that transformation. And there is the Victory Gundam head. Cool. On the computer, getting some looks at it, maybe the color, you know, depending on where the damage is. I kind of like that, like a video game. Cool. And here we get kind of the full shot with some light shading on it, so you kind of get a look at the Gundam. I love this this mobile suit. It's a really cool design. I don't think they've necessarily done it justice yet. And, you know, I have the high grade and the master grade Verka, but I don't know. Cool look at Chronicle Asher's mobile suit standing there. Looks cool. And an awesome classic beam saber clash going on here. Just, yeah, good looking designed mobile suits here doing their little beam clashing. It's cool stuff. Okay, so he destroyed him and just kind of separated and took off. So the 13-year-old got him that time. Shadow Uso standing in the cockpit being like, what have I got myself into? I can't let people die. Yeah, what's his art going to be in this? You think it's going to be different than the others? Yeah, the ending music is just as awesome. So there you have it. First episode of Victory Gundam. Curious what you think. I think it fires on all cylinders. It's everything you want out of Gundam, even if some of the enemy mobile suits are a little iffy. The propeller thing is a little new and different. But as the show goes, it really gets into the characters. It really gets interesting. It's just another standout Gundam in the vein of 0079 Zeta and Double Zeta. So anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. I'd like to talk about this maybe more on a live stream or podcast. But have a good day. Talk later.